7 p.m. and then also on Sundays at 6 p.m. Early birds also love day watch up money. And at 10 a.m. there's the draw. So again, you make use of that short code, *446#, choose the range of the numbers 1 to 39, win the same multiples 20 times, 40 times, 400 times your stake. You can also play online, so you log on to dewa-nla.com and get the latest. For those who have joined us, let me just introduce quickly for you and communicating for the campaign team of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, of Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, DMB It Is Possible 2024. Remember, we just have 23 days to that election. Vigorously campaigning in the Ashanti region, and then also others also doing in other parts of the country. Ellen Amadeko is right here. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
Okay. And then also we have Beatrice Sanan, and Beatrice Sanan is also a legal practitioner, but also a deputy spokesperson for the John Mahama campaign as well. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Roland.
Okay. Rodalyn Ayana is with the Alliance for Revolutionary Change. And they formed the alliance together with the Movement for Change, among many others. So well represented in their gear. Only Beatrice and Nania no well geared up. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
Great, great.
I'm fine. And yourself?
Charlie, I'm a bit under the weather. Yeah. So
you look fine.
So Nanaya Chimpim Jantwa is
Why should you pause? You mentioned when you pause.
It's a former General Secretary for the CPP. How are you?
I'm fine. You are in red and blue.
Yes. I actually love red and blue. I don't know. It's one of my favorite colors. So that's great. But so we'll be speaking on a number of issues. We want to 23 days to the election, assess trust for the Electoral Commission, their preparedness, etc. There have been issues raised about the numbers they've given to the parties, and then whether the numbers have been segmented. 18 million people now already in excess. 0.7, right? Ready for the votes or the December 7 election. What does it mean as well? But this week also has been quite eventful. We had the Supreme Court also coming out with the final judgment on the subject. And, well, I guess we have to take a look at many others. And Ellen, if you take a look at what the Supreme Court came out with, at the end of the day, that is sacrosanct. So the belief is that the Speaker and the sides of Parliament, especially the NDC side, they need, that's the minority side, they need to adhere to that. How do you think we need to bring everybody together into the House so that we move on with government business?
Good morning to our cherished viewers. I've said it here once, and I'll repeat it again. This particular Parliament has been a drama-filled Parliament. Started a drama right from their inception, and I'm not surprised they are finishing up with the drama. So, they have a job to do. Ghanaians voted for them to do a certain job. So I expect that they will come together and do it. My little issue is that we are 3 weeks away from an election.
True.
Most of the members of Parliament are going for re-election. So I don't see how they are going to show up in Parliament till after the elections. I mean, that's my personal projections. Honestly, I don't see how they are going to come. So let's see how it goes. I'm sure that as it is now, all of them are concentrated. Those who are going for re-election are concentrated on their elections. And I'm sure that after the elections, which is barely 23 days away, we'll see to the work that has to be done. But because we are going for a vote, I think that this particular Parliament has not been too helpful for Ghanaians. When you compare them to the other parliaments that have come, they haven't really gotten down to do work. It's been consistent bickering. So as we're going to vote, I am for the MPP. I'm campaigning vigorously for Dr. Bawumia. You vote for Dr. Bawumia, you vote for the parliamentary candidate of the MPP. It's not by force that you vote for Dr. Bawumia. We have to appeal to you to vote for him. Whoever you decide to vote for, I think we should appeal to Ghanaians to vote for the parliamentary candidate of whoever they chose to vote for. Because we cannot afford to have this situation in another parliament. We need to get work done. They have shown us that they are not prepared to work together.
You're saying that if there has to be any composition, it has to be overwhelming,
it should
at least for the government in power and then also for those in Parliament.
Exactly. So that we can get work done. Parliament is supposed to do certain work. We pay them to do something. But at first, when we started this off, it was 137 plus 1 and 137. A lot of people had hopes. They were very happy that at least with the Parliament split down the middle, they were going to do quite a lot of work and scrutinize a lot of. But I mean, the last 4 years have shown us that doesn't work. So as a politician and a politician of the NPP, I think that whoever you vote for the parliamentary candidate.
No skirts and blouse.
No, there shouldn't be skirts and blouse. And let whichever party that comes into government, hopefully is the government of Dr. Bawumia, have a resounding majority to work with. We cannot afford another 4 years of this situation.
Has the campaign been going for Dr. Bawumia so far?
So far, we are in the Ashanti region. I crisscross between the Ashanti region and the Bono and Bono East regions. And I keep on saying it consistently that we are on the grounds. December 7th, we show everybody the work we have done. We've worked very hard. He's still in the Ashanti region. We finish up in the Ashanti region, and then we move up north again. We are consistent with this. We've been very consistent with this campaign, and we are finishing hard.
Well, certainly. And Beatrice, what do you make of the talk that we need to have all sides in Parliament united, even the Speaker in the middle at the end of the day, following the Supreme Court ruling?
Okay, so Roland, good morning to you and our cherished viewers. This morning, I don't normally do this, but I want to do it. I want to say a very good morning to Madame Lordina Mahama.
What did she do?
I think that she's proving that you can still be a woman, you can still have a foundation on your face, have a foundation and also transform the lives of other women. Over the last years, I've seen how passionate she's been about women and mortality issues, about women who want to birth another life. And so just 2 days ago, in Atebubu and in Bodom, she commissioned a maternity block for the communities. Before that, she had done that in Boli. And she went to Ketu North to donate medical supply, and then to Tamale North to donate medical supply. I think she's so passionate about the health of women. And I am also very passionate because, but for the fact that I had my first baby in a private hospital, I would have lost my life. And so I could see death practically staring me. And so I appreciated when women go and give birth, and then we create that conducive environment for them to come back. Because I don't think that any woman deserves to lose her life merely because she wanted to give life to another person. And I think that on behalf of the many women and the children whose lives she will be saving by these generous acts, we want to say that we salute her. Many people have resources. They choose to buy expensive bags. They choose to fly presidential private jets. And she, having her own personal resources, she could have chosen to buy anything with it because she's not mandated by any law to do this. But it should tell you that it matters who becomes your leader. It matters what the intentions of people are. And so if this is how she's using her personal resources, you can as well guess how she would even use access to resources that does not belong to her. And I think that I salute her wherever she is. We are so proud of her. And I want to encourage her to keep doing more. Now, back to the discussion on the table. I think that if there is one thing Parliament is noted for, it's consensus building. And what this impasse should show us is that much as I'm even a lawyer, law does not settle every dispute. In fact, law has traveled so much so that today, emphasis is placed on alternative dispute resolutions.
What's your point with this?
My point is this, is that you can win in the court and still not have what you want. I listened to the Chief Justice when she gave the ruling that the plaintiff action succeed. and then she said that the decision will be available in the registry of the court. Yesterday, I saw GH1 reporting that that decision was still not ready. I want to read the dissenting opinion of Justice Tanko and Lovelace. I want to read because for me, that dissenting opinion represents the conscience of what many people believe the decision should be. The Supreme Court is not supreme to the Constitution. They cannot assume jurisdiction where the Constitution does not give them. But you know the funny thing? Now there is a Supreme Court decision. What the Supreme Court could not do and cannot do is to compel the Speaker of Parliament to convene a sitting of the House. And so if truly the aim was to get Parliament to do business, is Parliament doing business? There is a vast difference between knowledge and wisdom. Sometimes how you apply knowledge is more important than the knowledge acquired. And I think that we've just gone and come back to square one. So where's government business now?
But you are a lawyer. You know that the outcome of that Supreme Court judgment or ruling is a finality.
Yes, nobody is saying
and enjoined by the Constitution to do that.
Yes, so nobody is saying
so
that.
So the NDC, they are compelled to go.
What have we done?
Because the way you are talking.
who is compelling us to go where? Who is compelling us? There is no law that compels the NDC to go back to Parliament because a Supreme Court has given its decision. Just like the Supreme Court did not order the Speaker. The Supreme Court did not issue a mandamus compelling the Speaker of Parliament to reconvene the House. At least the Chief Justice could only agitate and ask, why is Parliament not sitting? Otherwise, there was nothing she could do. She could only ask that question. I think that what this should teach us in our democracy is that you can use consensus. You can use alternative means to resolve disputes. And that when you compel an arm of government to do something which is contrary to what everybody knows, at the end of the day, you come back to zero. Now, I've heard some of the MPP people say they want consensus and they think we should sit and talk. What happened to that line of reasoning before they went to the Supreme Court? What happened to it? I think we will be doing ourselves a disservice to be pretending. Nothing has happened. Afenyomakin has demonstrated that he has no administrative capacity to be the leader of the MPP parliamentary caucus.
You cannot make those remarks against Afenyomakin.
Why can't I make that?
Afenyomakin is a man of his own. He's had his own achievements in life.
I said that
and he's been chosen to lead the caucus.
I have no doubts about that.
He's deemed to be competent.
I have no doubts about that. That he's the leader of the caucus. He may be a competent leader in their caucus, but he has shown that he does not have the requisite administrative capacity to lead a house on the basis of consensus building. When Osei Mensah Bonsu was the majority leader, they had even more pressing issues than this. To the extent that even we staged a walkout at the time of passing E-levy. You didn't see this. So what do you think that Osei Mensah was doing? He was exercising leadership. People may not agree with him, but he got the results. What you have. Did you see Afenyomakin practically ambushing a reporter of City FM and saying that, address me by this title?
Well, that's what he said.
I said he is more
his
obsessed.
position has always been that he's the majority leader. So we reporters should.
By his position. Now he says that the reason that spiritually, when he sits in the seat of the minority, something spiritual will happen. I don't know, because maybe he's a Freemason, he believes in the spiritual world and all that. But how do you reduce governance to your personal spirituality? And that is where we are. So let's not be surprised. Nothing has been solved. And it is in tandem with the MPP's inability to solve every issue from economy to health to agri to any sector. And I mean, why do we even have to? Let's go to our second topic. I think that is a more important topic to discuss.
Rodalyn, just your small words on this, and then we'll move on to the next.
Good morning to Ghanaians, and good morning to Mr. Alanchiramating, wherever you are. I hope you're doing good. You know, I was excited seeing two new faces. The last time it was 7 faces that looked rather, to me, partisan, but 2 new faces were added to the group. So
you mean 5?
Yeah, there were 5, and
that looked at the order.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So now we have 5-2, which means that there can be discerning voices within the Supreme Courts. And that advises me to say that we should be asking the Chief Justice, with all humility, to start using the automated technological system of empaneling judges and also fixing up cases. This, I think, for me, will bring us more in terms of trust and whatever we would be thinking of the Supreme Courts. I don't know, but somehow we've not read the reasons given by the various judges. So it's very difficult to actually discuss this issue. But I am excited that at least there were some discerning voices, and I would love to read those ones. But I would also want to insist that from now on, the Chief Justice must not empanel people on cases just based on her own choices, but it should be done because, well, it should be done by electronic system that is in the courts.
All right, please. How do we build consensus now?
Which consensus is that?
Consensus is needed because at the end of the day, the ruling has been made or the judgment. And so we need the parliamentarians back. Government needs to look at its urgent business. The number of items before Parliament.
Let me say good morning to you and good morning to my sisters and my auntie. And good morning to my brother, Dr. P.Y. Jantwa. P.Y., how are you? And my brother, Kwame Jantwa. What consensus are you talking about? The MPP, they asked for the reopening of Parliament using the Constitution. I believe right now the Constitution is even tired.
How tired?
We are just going backwards and forwards about what is in clear language. They asked for a reopening of Parliament, isn't it? Good. The NDC came, but they did not come to the chamber. They walked out because they said they were supposed to sit in a certain place, and spiritually, it was wrong for them to sit in the other place. You see, in this Parliament, I'll say it and I'll reiterate it and I'll say it again. There's no majority. It is 137 plus 1.
There's a majority side.
Where is the majority side? There's a government side and there's an opposition side. From the very beginning, it was an error for the Speaker to allow the independent candidate to stay with them to be majority.
An error?
Yes, but he said he bent backwards. He bent backwards so that government business will thrive. Because you see, Roland, if I ask for 2 dogs and you bring me a dog and a monkey, have you brought me 2 dogs?
Well, dogs and monkeys got to do with it.
That is what I am saying, that independent and party are not the same. If somebody is independent, another person is from another party, they are not the same. So they cannot add on. Their DNA is not the same. They cannot add on. Do you get me? They cannot add on. They can only do business. A dog and a monkey can play around, but they are not the same. They cannot mate to bring out a produce. So what the independent should have done was to sit in their place.
But let me ask you.
Ask me.
The former member of Parliament. I mean, he was a former MPP.
Former is different from now.
But the large number of people who vote for him are sympathizers and supporters of the MPP in the Ashanti region.
Because you see, the vote was divided.
That is undeniable.
Please. The vote was divided between 2 people. The MPP person and he himself. But for him to win, it was possible that people from other parties also voted for him. Because he was an independent candidate. And he was the one they rejected. They said that they cannot do business with him. I don't know what is wrong with him. If I were him, I'll stay independent forever. I don't know why he's rushing to join. And now look at all the problems it has brought to us. Seriously, there is no majority. So if somebody says that address me as majority, what is that majority? It's a very pathetic one. A majority of 1 when you used to have 169. And now you have 137 and you are forcing. a one majority. It's neither here nor there, and it's not even your majority. This is somebody that you rejected and said you do not want. You don't need that person. You don't want that person to come close. The person was anathema. Do you get me? So the point is that we shouldn't even fight over majority or minority. There's none in the House. That is why we call it a hung parliament. So initially, the right thing should have been, as Right Honorable Speaker said, it should have been government side and opposition side. That is all. Because you see, no matter what it is, there should be consensus building. But now, who went to court? Today, Kojon Pieni, one of the very experienced, astute politicians in this country, he said that there was no need for the matter to be taken to court, because when you do that, you weaken one arm of government. The other arm of government should not interfere in the process of the other arm of government. And I agree with him. I've said this thing several, but you say that the Supreme Court has ruled. But you see, we need to even look at it we shouldn't mix things. The Supreme Court is not telling Parliament to reconvene. And nobody can force, as Beatrice said, nobody can force any parliamentarian to come to the chamber. People want their seats. They want to win their seats. And backwards and forwards. You see, the people who, it's possible that the MPP leader has not traveled beyond his constituency.
He's the majority leader.
So he doesn't know. He doesn't know how far people travel from the north to come to Accra to attend Parliament. So he just calls Parliament, requests for a call of the Parliament at his whims. I am even surprised at his posture now and his posture then.
Why? Is there a difference?
Yes, now he's...
You said he was going to the call for validation,
no,
and the Speaker's actions were unconstitutional.
Then he started talking about the Speaker in any way. He's a dictator, he's this, he's that. Yes, it is there. But no matter what it is, you see, whether we like it or not, Right Honorable Bagman is the Speaker of Parliament. Nancy Pelosi was a thorn in the flesh of Trump. She was the Speaker of the House. Do you understand me? So the Speaker of Parliament is not somebody that we can just get up and misbehave. The fact that he's NDC does not mean that he should be treated anyhow. He is the Speaker of Parliament, the leader of the House, the second in line as far as the institutions are concerned. The legislature is the second in line. The executive, the legislature, and the judiciary.
So you're saying that if, let's say, NDC should not mass up numbers to the House, it's legitimate?
Where is the law in this one? I cannot come. I'm in my conscience. Where is the law? You use legitimate, you are talking about law. Hey. Does any law compel anybody to be in Parliament? Yes, I am telling you, because the Constitution, this 97, it shows you how you can absent yourself 15 times. It is not yet 15 times. It is not even one time. They came all the way from Boko, from everywhere. And the MPP side said they were not coming because of seating. Ghana is not an appendage of the MPP. Ghana is Ghana.
Ellen, now let's come to the substantive and talk about the Electoral Commission and how we need to perhaps better take a look at its own role that it needs to play 23 days to this election and what our expectation should be, especially now that you have been going around consistently.
I think the Electoral Commission has been given a job to do, and so far I'll say they are doing their job. What I really don't get, and I spoke to your producers about it, what is this business about not giving accreditation to CSOs? Did they give a reason for it? Because if I remember, and I believe I've been following politics for quite some time, every election, CSOs are there. They observe. Or I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But from what I know, CSOs show up. So did they give us a reason why they don't want CSOs to show up at this time? if they don't have any good reason to it, I don't know why they want to change the status quo. I mean, so far, they've had quite a lot of challenges with this particular election, including the fact that one candidate dying, and it is a gray area. It's never happened before.
Is it?
I think so, but we haven't had an election where one of the presidential candidates had passed on. So it's a new situation that they've gone through. I think they've handled it quite well. So what is this new thing about not giving CSOs accreditation? They should let us know. And CSOs are part of the whole process. They keep an eye on it. And they actually help us when we are done with the elections to know whether it was free and fair. They give their reports, they tell us what happened, and it helps us to better our next elections. So if the EC has a problem with the CSOs, they should let us know. But I think this blanket ban, I don't think it goes down well with anybody. They should let us know. Otherwise, we should stick to the normal stuff that we do during elections. 23 days to elections, you don't want any upheavals. You don't want the whole thing to go smoothly so that when you win, you know you have won. When you lose, you quietly go and sit at home and you help the winner to govern the country. We know that Dr. Bawumia is winning, so we are not really interested in any upheavals. We want the thing to go and go smoothly. So please, Electoral Commission, let us know why you don't want CSOs. You don't want to give them accreditation. Why? I just want to know why. Did they give any reason?
Well, so these are a crop of civil society organizations, not like the regular
CDD. So they will give the CDD ones. They'll give them.
So we're waiting for the responses from the Electoral Commission, because what we know is that Codeo and some of those regular ones would always be in the mix, but some of them may not have the same stature like them. So we don't know whether...
I just think that, I mean, new things come up all the time. New institutions come up all the time. So are we saying that we don't want new CSOs to come up? And if new ones have come up, I mean, when you give them, so you rather work with the old ones than with the new ones. Why don't we also want to train the new ones? Why don't we want them to also show up and also go through the process? Because in the next few elections, they will be the old ones. So I really don't get it. Unless they have a particular reason, they should let us know. If they don't have any particular reason, I think any CSO that is credible, that has been registered as such, and is interested in monitoring the elections should be given an accreditation. I mean, it doesn't spoil anything.
And as we're going, knowing that the latest Afrobarometer is indicating still public trust for the Electoral Commission is not up to the optimum, how do we balance that going into this election?
My dear, public trust for the EC in any election year will not be 100%. It is how the EC behaves and how they do their things that will make the public trust them. 23 days away from an election. Why do you want to keep some CSOs away? That's my question. Because if you do this, then the trust that we are talking about, I mean, people start looking at you with some eyes. So please, the EC should let us know why they don't want to give these CSOs accreditation. Is it that they are criminal organizations, they are not properly registered? What is the problem? If they don't have any problem with it, just the simple mere fact that they are new, there's nothing wrong with having new people on board.
Well,
so for me, I think this is a needless. They just bring in. It looks like the EC also wants some attention sometimes, but there are some attention you don't need.
The criticism is that
23 days to elections. I mean, seriously.
Yeah.
Why would you want to court controversy again? If the people are interested, you've done their background checks, they can do the job. They fit into all the legal parameters for a CSO. What is the problem? Honestly.
Beatrice, what do you make of this? Especially if in the register, we're told that your party, for example, was raising concern that there was no segregation. It was whole numbers that were given, etc.
I think that Madame Jane Mensah wants a third term for the MPP, even more than Bawumia wants.
So how do you make those conclusions, Beatrice Annan?
And so allow me to establish that. You see, by her conduct, she had shown that she's more than the annex of the MPP. Jane Mensah is not the only electoral commissioner we have had in Ghana. We've had and conducted elections from 1992. And much as political parties have had issues in the past, I think that she exercises the powers given to the commission in the most arbitrary manner, in flagrant breach of Article 296, where if a person has the duty to exercise a discretionary power, he ought to exercise that in a fair, reasonable, and candid manner.
What has the EC done that you claim is not reasonable, it's unfair, it's unfair?
From 1992, every time we have conducted an election, there has been a final figure that the political parties agree to, that this is the figure, so that even if there has to be a dispute, we dispute a particular figure or results. What you have is that the first time she conducted an election, she changed the results almost 5 times. Even before you could authenticate release 1, you have release 2 come in. You raise issues about release 2. Even she said, oh, disregard release 2, we are now bringing. So she does not even have the credibility when it comes to finalizing an election result. Now, there is a rationale behind why people must observe an election. It is not for the fun of it that the EC will decide that in my discretion or this morning when I woke up, I think that these people must observe and these people must not observe. There is a rationale. The policy is that we must be able to subject the electoral process to some credibility, because the EC is noted for not speaking the truth when it comes to issues that happen on election day. You remember the Ayawaso West Wagon. When they appeared before the commission, they feigned ignorance about things that occurred during the election, because their justification was that they did not get the reports from either their officers on the ground or she possibly could not have known. So what election observing does is to bring to fore which places are starting very early, because when the NDC raise the concerns, they will say, oh, it's NDC raising. Then quickly, MPP will say, oh, we disagree with the NDC. And then it is politicized. But what the election observer does is that because they are neither NDC or MPP, they give you a fair and accurate account of what happens, so that even in her own interest, if she's interested in conducting a very free and fair election, she will quickly move in to conduct or to correct some of the anomalies. For instance, this is a person who could not conduct a district assembly election. When the day of the election came, they told us, oh, for some reasons, we cannot conduct. You can imagine that people were not aware. They will tell you, they will find a reason for you, but for the observation. So it is not subject to her whims and caprices. And you know, the EC in recent times have been using some very flimsy excuses when we raise issues. They will say, oh, it is not the law. Madame J. Mensah should know that it is also not the law that she should be given over 10 military men to be protecting her, including taking her to salons. It is not the law, but she has it. And so if the law
well, someone who says she's an officer of the state, so
10 military men.
So military, all officers of the states have access to military men who are stationed in their houses, hold their bags. Some of the military men who went through all these views have become bag holders. Follow her to salons and things. That is what officers of the state are entitled to. Please, let's get serious. The level of public discourse and governance should not be reduced so low because the NPP has introduced a new law. So she should not be deceived by that military protection she has, that she can sit in the comfort of her office, cause mayhem, do things which she is not allowed to do, and then run under the guise of the commissioner's independence. But I want to send a note of caution to those NPP apparatchiks and appendages at the Electoral Commission, that they can but only do what are within their limits of the law. And the NDC will resist any attempt to subvert the will of the people and the Constitution. And to the many NDC people, I wish I could find my camera and speak to them. To the many NDC people and to the many Ghanaians who hope and they are expectant of the fact that power will change so that the draconian hardship that people have been subjected with, they will have some form of liberation. You have a duty to protect the ballot paper. The law mandates all of us to be observers. And so when you go to your polling station on 7 December to vote, do not leave the polling station. This is where the 24-hour economy will start. When you get tired, call your
don't
friends
decide
to
who
come.
stays at the Electoral Commission polling station or not.
The
It's
law,
a designated site of the EC.
does not prohibit us from being within where the EC is not operating. Because you know why? Let me complete my statement and I'll address your concern. Be there. Nobody can ask you to go home as long as you're not doing anything illegal. And you must be there in your numbers. You know why you should be there in your numbers? For 2 things. First, so that the people that they have stationed to come and do the ballot staffing, which they did in 2020, and which is their best bet and their source of confidence in this 2024 election, they cannot ballot staff because they did that in Asin North. In Asin North, when we formed a human war at the electoral or the polling stations, I personally heard a gentleman speak Ga because it was in Asin North. He assumed nobody could speak Ga. Calling someone on the phone that with the number of people here, I cannot do what you say I should do.
He said that
I report, yes, because I'm Ga, I speak Ga. So I reported the gentleman to the police officer and they made sure he never came close. He was even scared. And so the EC and the MPP, they only have one agenda: to rig this election. By your vigilance, in Asin North, we saw electoral officers tearing 2 ballot papers to be given to identifiable party people. It took the vigilance of the NDC to stop it. And I am very confident that people are angry. More than ever, we are vigilant. You see how we have put a lot of pressure from auditing of the voter register, from detecting wrong transfers and ballots. The bloating in the register and all that. We have a system that we are using. But we call on all Ghanaians to be vigilant, to resist this rigging, because if the MPP wants to get 12 years in power, if Madame J. Mensah is so interested in giving the MPP a 3rd term, their works must show. There are evidences when the fundamentals are strong, the people will give you another term. You cannot have a dollar of 17 cedis to a dollar and say that you want a 3rd term. Why? Not through the will of the people. And when you meet them, they just come back to tell you
you're talking about. It's the voters who will decide some of it.
Yes.
They make the decision.
Yes, the voters
at the
will
polling
decide.
station.
The voters will decide. And so any attempt to subvert the decision of the voters must be resisted. If the EC had nothing to hide, why would the EC say that you should not observe?
All right. But Rodali, going and taking a cue from where Beatrice left off will mean that the Electoral Commission then is up against the stakes in terms of public opinion. And should we be concerned about that?
We should be concerned. Views out there is that the Electoral Commission is at the beck and call of the ruling party, and that is not a good thing. Madame Jean Mensah must be told in the face that she holds the key to peace in this country by doing the right thing. She should do the right thing. She should make sure that we have a free, fair, and transparent election. Asking CSOs not to come or whatever is, I don't know. I ask myself, why is she stopping people from going to observe? Because these are the people who go to see things, come and tell us. You know, we don't expect your people to come and tell us because we don't trust them. So no matter how small a CSO is, if they have written for accreditation to observe the elections, I think they should be given observer status. At the end of it, Jean Mensah has not shown Ghanaians this whole thing about her being trustworthy. Like Beatrice said, for the first time, as I sit here, I don't know the results of the 2020 elections because there were about so many figures coming out. And for me, that is not good enough. For us to sit and also, I was reading through the responsibilities and whatever of the EC, and I realized that it is mandatory for her to send not just one observer during the printing of ballot papers, but we were told by, I think, the NDC IT guy that they gave them one person, as if that person wouldn't go to the loo, and if that person
Well, that's for all the parties.
Well, but
It works for all the parties. The Electoral Commission said it works for all the parties.
Yeah, but now they've made it two. Why? It's always been two. That's the convention. It's always been two. So why even think about it at all that you should give them one? They will not wee-wee. They will not eat. You know, if you're doing things to help the ruling party, please use sense, common sense.
Are you making a claim
I'm making
that
a claim.
the actions of the Electoral Commission
is aiding the NPP to stick on to power? That is what I'm
condoning
saying.
and conniving?
Conniving and condoning.
Madam Rodalin, is that what you are claiming?
That is what I am saying. That is what I am saying. Because you see, at the end of the day, I represent an independent candidate who cannot go to IPAC or will just have to go to IPAC as an observer. And I can tell you that this particular independent candidate has gone around the country, has more following than those parties that we would call other parties that are sitting there making laws for us to go into this election or giving out their ideas. You understand? So I wouldn't understand why there are the EC itself knows that some of the parties that are in IPAC, for instance, do not deserve to be there. If you follow the rules and regulations governing political parties and how they get to be in IPAC, come on. I have seen. I was in a I was in a walk, and I turned back. I looked and I said, I wish one of those parties could get half of these numbers of people during a walk, but we don't even have
You
to
mean
say.
the Movement for Change and the Alliance?
Yes.
You had so many people
I mean, I looked at the thousands, and I'm like,
that you were wondering why
and I was wondering,
some of the parties
yeah,
are there and you are not there.
I'm not. I'm wondering. Why,
Really?
Exactly. I'm wondering why we are not there. Why are people treating us as if we don't exist? You know, we do exist. So for me, the public trust is very important on the Electoral Commission. And she must live above all the noises that are coming from the general public, that she's not being fair, and she seems to have an agenda to rig this election for the MPP, which is wrong. It's terribly unpalatable for most of us. We don't want to hear that because we want everybody to accept the elections, to accept the results that she will be churning out in December. We want to be able to accept that. We don't want a situation where we will go to court, because no one is going to go to court. Okay. We won't go to court because we can't go for 7-0 or 9-0 or 12-0 because some people will just be put there to say I, and that's it. We won't do that. So for me, I think that they must give a hearing to the CSOs that have been asked not to come again or not to observe. They should be allowed to observe. I'm also thinking that because of public interest in this, everyone who wants to be there should be given an accreditation to be there. After all, what do they do? Just walk around? You walk around, you observe, you ask a few questions from people, and that's all there is to it. What is she afraid of? Let us see some transparency going forward. She must be transparent in her dealings with all parties. We have gotten our voters register. We are going to look through it, but we've asked that at least they should give us the breakdown data on it, and we are hoping that she'll do it in good time, and we wish that she would accord us the same respect that she accords the two parties, that's the MPP and the NDC.
Anaya, it's because around the table we seem to be creating a certain atmosphere that the Electoral Commission is on a certain path and tangent and in tandem with the governing party and etc. Whilst perhaps it may not be so.
You see, the Electoral
should that be our thinking?
The Electoral Commission should stop causing trouble. They should stop being
trouble.
Yes, they should stop being mischievous and causing trouble. The trouble is too much. Do you get me? The trouble is too much. They should stop it. Jean Mensa should start acting like a leader. When she does her things, it doesn't look as if she's on her own. It's as if somebody is behind the scenes pulling the strings. It is time for us to see her as the Electoral Commissioner. Somebody even asked me a question that if Bawumia doesn't win, can Jean Mensa announce anybody as the president, especially His Excellency John Dramani Mahama? That kind of image is.
Or how do you mean?
That is. These are questions.
That's a very unfair comment to make.
These are questions out there.
They had to leave it for the.
These are questions out there.
Why?
Yes,
why?
Because of her posture and the way, and everybody has said it around here. Why is she denying the CSO's observer status? You see, even I believe that, and I know that even as an ordinary Ghanaian, you can apply to be an observer. Because of security reasons, you just have to need a tag to show that you are an observer. What is wrong? When the observers come on board, especially the CSOs, it brings neutrality. Do you understand? It brings neutrality. So you need to bring them on board. This is an election for our country, and I don't see why you should stifle anybody who wants to be involved. And I don't know what her problem is. She and her team, they should try as much as possible not to create any chaos, because when parties are dissatisfied, it brings trouble. We will go for all these peace conferences. The fulcrum of our peace is around the EC. So if the EC does not behave properly, then we are in trouble. You get me? We are going to elect parliamentarians. We are going to elect a president for this nation. One thing I agree with Ellen is that at this election, everybody should vote. If you vote CPP, vote for the CPP PC. If you vote NDC, vote for the NDC PC. If you vote MPP, vote for the MPP PC, so that it takes out this, because I have heard, I don't know, maybe it's alleged, but it is all around that the MPP MPs are telling people to vote for them, and vote for them as
individuals.
As individuals.
Or as they make a choice for other candidates.
Yes.
Where are you here? That cannot be true.
Oh, me, I don't know, but I heard. I don't know how far it's true.
I can give you a list.
If they don't, they should vote for
No, please.
I can give you a list.
Please.
Okay, so with this kind of thing, it is certainly not right for this kind of information. And I agree with Ellen 100% that for us to get some stability, for me, the hung parliament is not a bad thing, but how we manage it. We need to also have rules in the parliament regarding the hung parliament, that in case
to accommodate some of these.
Yes, in case it happens again, what are some of the mistakes that we did? But typically, it is not right for people to ask others to vote for them and vote for another candidate. You stay within your lane. So people who are voting for whoever, vote for your president and vote for the PC. So if you are voting for His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, vote for him and vote for the PC. If you are voting for Alan Chiamati, vote for him and vote for the independent candidate. And any other person.
You are voting for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia.
If we are voting for Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, vote for him. Do you get me?
And vote for the PC.
If you are voting for CPP, vote, so that there is some uniformity.
Oh, so no, we want a hung parliament again, maybe.
Do you get it? So if you want, we should not take out the another occurrence of a hung parliament. So
and its problems that it will bring.
So we need to have regulations regarding that. But as for the EC, to be very honest, I thought that by now, Madame Jean Mensa would have learned something. Ghanaians are not pleased with her, and she's a woman. Sometimes I find it very difficult to talk about her. But there's also issues as if somebody is pushing her. Sometimes she looks very sad, very as if she's vulnerable. Sometimes she looks like she doesn't want to understand, very, very stringent, very hard. But whatever it is, the changes in moods, I don't know what it means. Sometimes she comes out as very angry. But whatever it is, she should understand that she has a lot on her head. for this country to come together. At this moment, for you see Ghanaians, if you finish your 8 years, they say that is democracy. When you go, you take the trotros and the taxis, they will tell you that, madam, for us 8 years we are finished. Whether you do well or you don't do well, we are done.
The voters determine that.
These are the
so
voters.
It's not trotro people.
They are the voters. The people in the trotro, who are they? The people, I'm asking you, the people sitting in the trotro, who are they? They are the real voters. And I am saying that on that day, everybody should get up in the morning as early as it is to go and vote. You see, that day, nobody, I've said it, nobody can stay the execution of our camps to vote against the MPP. Nobody can do that. Not the EC. But all of us should be vigilant to ensure. I am saying that, Lucy, for instance, the breakdown, we need it. We need the statistics. For me to know that my Asokwa constituency has 200 people on the poll. And so if somebody is monitoring, you will know that maybe 150 people voted. We should also have manual tallying. The agents should take A4 sheets. They do their tallying, but they should have people, even the observers, they should be useful. You don't just go around and leave. We should distribute ourselves. Me, I want to be an observer. I'm going to EC to tell them that I'll be an observer. And we should pick a white sheet. As the people are voting, you should be diligent in counting. 5 people vote, you do your 5 and you cross. So that at the end of the day, you know that the register of 200 people, 150 voted. So nobody can come in.
You are encouraging people to flood the polling area.
It is not flood, but when the counting is going on, people are there to observe.
All right.
And you can be within a certain
perimeter.
Okay. And you'll be observing. You cannot say that.
That one is acceptable.
Yes, we cannot leave it like that for people to do what they want to. No.
Okay. Adib Sani, you are leading the coalition of civil society organizations who have been denied. Adib Sani, are you on the stream?
I am for the past 30 minutes.
Fantastic guy. Thank you for your patience. You are a man of many colors and great patience.
You want to boss me. You want to boss me, Roland. You want to boss me.
It's been a while. Usually Thursdays we reserve them for our beautiful, intelligent women. So, but
absolutely.
Okay. So just in 4 minutes, why were you denied? Because I'm assuming it doesn't include the established or the well-known CSOs involved in elections like Codeo, etc., right?
No, it is independent of Codeo.
Yes, certainly.
Quite a number of CSOs applied for accreditation. As a matter of fact, for us at the JTK Center, we applied on the 4th of September this year. And the salutations are there. We also stated the organizational objectives and past experiences, then special areas of interest. Then we also attached our NGO documents. As a matter of fact, we have been around the country. We've trained over 2,000 observers we wanted to deploy. Unfortunately, the EC replied rather simply, stating that I'm looking for the letter. Okay, so according to the EC, this is the letter they wrote. I bring you warm greetings from the Electoral Commission and trust that this letter finds you well. I thank you for your application for accreditation for election observation. The Commission is unable, just a one-liner, the Commission is unable to accept your application at this time. Kindly accept assurances of our highest regard. So it makes me wonder why the Commission would deny us accreditation. No excuse was given, no explanation was given, nothing, just denial, and that's it. And the interesting thing is, these other civil societies that have been denied, one of them is CENCO, the Center for Conflict Resolution. And guess the person behind it? General Arnold Kwenu, the first ECOMOG commanding officer who intervened in Liberia. And they have been observing elections since 2008. They were there in 2012, 2016, 2020, and even the recent Asin-North by-elections, they were there. So what has changed? What has Madame Jean Mensah got to hide, knowing how important civil society participation in our elections is? Because I am very concerned lately about the negative press about the EC. I mean, a lot of people expressing concerns about whether they are committed to holding a free, fair, credible election. So we thought this would have been a unique opportunity for the EC, that is, if they have nothing to hide, to prove to Ghanaians that, hey, we are transparent and we are committed to upholding the will of the people. And knowing the importance of civil society in consolidating our democracy, because we do accept the fact that CSOs are a function of governance. They are a function of our democracy. Since the beginning of the Fourth Republic, unfortunately, Madame Jean Mensah sees us as opponents and not partners. And I think that is dangerous, that is unacceptable, and that is irresponsible.
So, Adib,
on her part,
Adib, have you gone back to the EC to make inquiries as to why you have been denied?
She had the unique opportunity to tell us why we were denied here. She had that unique opportunity to do so. So we have decided to take to the media, but surely we are going to write back to them because we need to know, are we a terrorist organization? Are we financing terrorists? Are we not duly registered? Did we present fake documents? We need to know why. If that is, like I indicated, if the EC has nothing to hide. But Roland, I am worried because their action validates people's suspicions about what the EC is up to. I wouldn't want to be judgmental, but surely this denial is a cause for concern, is a cause for worry for us within that space. And I hope that she would realize that she has goofed big time, and so the need for her to rescind her decision.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for that intervention quickly. So, Ellen, you've heard it. So it means, what will be your clarion call on the EC then, just in a minute?
Let me first say that the EC is not in cahoots with the NPP to rig any election. The NPP has done solid work, and we know we are winning these elections hands down. So we do not need anybody to help us win anything. We know how to win elections, and we are going to win it by a virtue of our hard work and the fact that Ghanaians want us to continue in power. And so for that to happen, as I said in my earlier submissions, we do not want any noise making and looking for trouble when there's no trouble. Giving these CEOs the accreditation will not take anything away from the EC. And as I said, if they have any reason why they don't want to give it to them, when you wrote them the letter, you should have explained to them. We are not giving it to you, as you said, because there's something wrong with your registration. Let them know. You just don't give people a blank statement like that. It's unfair. They are part of the system. They're also Ghanaians, or whoever they are. They have a right to do it. So let them know why you will not give to them. I'm sure they have given them the reasons. They will not be up in arms about it. And so they shouldn't do that. They should do their work. But then the NPP is doing this work. And the NPP has won elections even when we were in opposition. So if we are going to win when we are in power, we do not need the EC to do anything for us. The EC should focus and do their work. And let us have peace and quiet. 23 days to elections. You know, we are all finishing hard. We are winding down on this matter. They shouldn't bring in new matters when there's no need for it.
They shouldn't create any problem. Beatrice, just a minute. What will be your clarion call on the EC then, in relation to this very subject? Just a minute.
I will not make any clarion call on the EC because they've demonstrated over the period that they are just interested in the NPP and nothing more. The clarion call I want to make is to the Ghanaian people that the EC cannot decide for you who your leaders are. The EC is only to facilitate your decision. And the Constitution mandates all of us to protect and preserve the Constitution. And civil disobedience is no crime. And so if the EC wants to hide under very omnibus and vague and verbose reasons by just saying that we can't do this, we will not do this, we are not mandated, you and I have a duty in our various polling stations to stand up to the EC and the electoral officers, most of which they even recruited some known MPP faces. You have a duty to make sure that the electoral processes are respected. You have a duty to police the ballot. Nobody can do anything to you. We have a duty to resist the oppressor's rule, and if that oppressor includes the EC, then we will resist the rule. But like I said, the MPP came to Asin North, believing that because of their rigging strategies they had put in place, they were going to win the Asin North election. I was in Asin North for the 21 days, never came home. In fact, they even brought caterers. Their level of confidence was that they even brought caterers, so that on the night of the declaration, they will hold a party. By 8 p.m., the caterers had packed and they were going to Accra or wherever they came from. And we saw it, we made fun of them. Their only levels of confidence is not their track record. It's not because they have built a hospital for you. It's not because they have provided jobs. It's not because they have constructed the roads. Their confidence is that the EC will aid them to do that which will subvert the will of the people.
And the MPP said they are not in aid with the EC.
Didn't the MPP say that before they appointed their party communicators onto the commission? How do you separate a party communicator from an electoral? So let me conclude and say that wherever you are watching me, the MPP does not deserve to be in power for 12 years. They have not shown why they have to be in power for 12 years. They cannot use 8 years to destroy the nation and tell you that in the coming election, Bawumia has a certain magic wand. In any case, maybe the EC is learning from Bawumia. If they solve all the problems today, if they allow all the observers today, who would they allow tomorrow? That is the new.
Well, I'm only saying that the EC should be thinking of how to give us a free and fair election, and I'm hoping that we will not have any military presence at the place. The elections are duties of the police, and sometimes they can bring in some few prison officers and the likes, but we don't want to see any uniformed army person around the ballot boxes or in that area. We will also want to see the national security people outside of it all. So in this election, we are hoping that the EC will play its part and make everybody happy. We don't want to go to court.
A minute for you, Mania.
You should see how Roland is moving us fast.
Meanwhile,
So we can't even think.
Plus another person,
we
5.
Even
I couldn't
think.
even conclude.
You have to ask that person at this time.
To clarify.
We don't want that person.
So
this
give
is
us
for us.
time.
Give us our time.
Because there is so much to say to this EC and the people of Ghana.
Yes, give us time. We need it. Don't bring people in on Zoom.
Next week, I'll make sure that is not done. Please, you have 1 minute.
I promise.
Okay. The point.
I've distorted your mind.
Yeah, the point is that I believe that every political party should empower their polling agents at the polling station. It is very, very key. If you have been assigned as a polling agent, you are going through training, I want to tell you that you need to be very vigilant. That is where the issue is. After the voting, Ghanaians are going to vote against MPP. There's no doubt about that. But the question they ask is, how are you going to police the ballot? And it is very key for us to do that, to make sure. And we should also make sure that nobody dies. We should make sure that nobody is shot. I am speaking to the IGP, Akufu Dampare, the CDS, all the heads of the security agencies, that they should ensure that no Ghanaian loses their life because of the 2024 election. 8 people died in 2020. Nothing has been done about it. I don't know whether there is even a docket to that effect. I don't know whether it is being investigated. We are in 4 years. 8 Ghanaian lives were lost, vanquished, destroyed. and nobody has said anything about it. Ghana is not going to forgive these heads if anybody dies. Yes, don't look at me in that manner. We are very, very, very serious about it. Ghana is not going to forgive the heads, the police, the military, the immigration, whoever is allowed to hold a gun. We were not going to forgive them if anybody dies. So they should all ensure that nothing like that happens. This is our homeland, Ghana. Our nation must be made great and strong.
All right. I have a couple of messages. Let me just go to 3 and then I have this one from Osei Mensabunsu from Ishaiso, who says, if you take a look at what has been done by the Akufo-Addo Bawumia-led government, it is a testimony of what money can do and has been spent. Yes, there are living standard issues, but if you take a critical assessment of the development across the country and the reception that Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is getting, don't be surprised. MPP is winning this election. Sampi Yali says, I totally agree with Ms. Elendeko. Why should the EC exclude some CSOs? Why would the EC give foreign observers accreditation but not Ghanaian CSOs? What makes Kodeo, etc., more acceptable than others? You wanted to say something? No, Kodeo is here. And this one is coming from Chairman Prosper, who says, ask Madam Delco whether they have cited free SHS numbers that says that upon fast check, there are 3 million beneficiaries and not 5 million. It is from Fact Check Ghana. He's added. What's your official number for the free SHS beneficiaries? 5 million. Okay. So Chairman Prosper, I said that's the official number that she knows. And then, of course, we have a couple more messages. For those who have given us those messages, we're grateful. Thank you also, ladies, for your presence. We shouldn't do Zoom. And we'll give you more time.
Yeah, rushing us. We can't.
Okay, so where are you going? Where are you going to from here?
I'm doing some. I'm reaching out to a few people.
Just around.
Accra, yes.
Okay, all right. All the best to you.
I'll be off.
President Mahama is in the Western North region, touring every
Because I was just about to. Is it Western West?
Western North region. He started yesterday, and from the Western North, we head to the Eastern region. So I want every Ghanaian to look out and keep faith with the NDC so that we can make your lives better.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Catch us in Northern region.
Northern region.
Yes, and we are finishing off in Accra as well.
So. We're already in Accra, in our studios. Please catch us live every hour. We're here. TV3 New Day. But in the meantime, we are bringing you a beachy tidings and Sandy Janomi. That's Maha Beach Resort. So make sure you book 2 nights and get the 3rd night free with all meals inclusive starting from 6,000 Ghana cedis for a couple. Package offer guests free access to all in-house facilities. And these facilities include swimming pools, the gym that's available, the cinema that you're going to enjoy with popcorn when you're watching the movies, board games, snooker games, etc., and entertainment. You also get to enjoy free airport pickups from Takrady when you come on weekend. So the fun activities will also include a tour of the Maha Beach Resort, beautiful facility for golf playing. And so they have a golf cart that is available, splash playground for children alongside other playing facilities. And just in case you want to book them, you can try as many times as possible. And make sure also you book and pay before the 1st of December and enjoy the 10% extra discount that is on this package. Call for your reservations and to avoid disappointment before the appointed date. So call the lines 030-39777773 or 050-1570-684. You can also email the sm@maharesort.com or check them out on social media. You can cash out *439# is where you get to win. Choose option 2. All right, we're building up to that mega jackpot. So that's it. And when we do the draws, you also get money credited into your mobile money account. We're taking a break. When we come back, we'll bring you the latest in sports right here on TV3 New Day. Stay tuned.